Did you know that every word you speak matters? Are your conversations making a difference? With a passion for words and a heart for conversation, Teresa Velardi is a self-professed word nerd, best-selling author, BizCat 360 columnist, and publisher. Children's books as well as fiction and nonfiction books are welcomed at We Be Books Publishing and Book Endeavors, the imprints of her company, Authentic Endeavors Publishing. Whether written or spoken, Teresa strives to encourage and inspire meaningful conversations that make a difference. Here's the host of Conversations That Make a Difference, Teresa Velardi.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Conversations That Make a Difference. I'm your host, Teresa Velardi, and I have a whole group of people who are coming in to talk about their participation in the next book in the Daily Gift book series, which is going to be released on November the 13th, which is World Kindness Day. But before we get to them, we have a lot to say here today. So before we get to them, let me just take care of some business. First and third Tuesday of the month, you will be able to visit a live taping of Conversations That Make a Difference. And it will be played on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network every Tuesday, 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. You won't catch me live at 5 a.m., but you might catch me live at 5 p.m. on the first and third. And you can listen on YouTube, you can listen online and your mobile device and your car and anywhere you can get internet radio. And to learn more about the full schedule, you can go to dreamvision7radio.com. And for those of you who know me, I usually start the show with a prayer. We start with a serenity prayer. And we'll do that now to get started. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I also want to say that it is by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, and highly favored, living in our greatness, using our gifts and talents, making a difference in the lives of others with passion and purpose, and all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And together we gratefully say, Amen. So, for those of you who have been listening to Conversations That Make a Difference, you know I have a book series called the Daily Gift book series. First two are out on Amazon. The third one is called A Daily Gift of Kindness, and you can see that here. And these ladies have all contributed a story or more to the book. And these stories are just like, they will tell you how to use kindness in your own life, being kind to yourself. Some of them will tell you of stories of people who have been kind to them, or they have experienced a kindness, being kind to someone else and made a difference in the lives of those people. So we're going to get to know each one of these ladies. It's everybody's going to have a little bit of time, and they have all definitely contributed in many ways to this book. So let's start with, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's start with Andy Berger. Hey, Andy, how are you?
Hey, Teresa, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining me. So Andy's the founder of Voices Against Trafficking and a survivor, author, and advocate for victims worldwide. Her books, Voices Against Trafficking, The Strength of Many Voices Speaking as One, and A Fragile Thread of Hope, One Survivor's Quest to Rescue, are available on Amazon.com. And her program has done much for many people who have survived trafficking. Andy, tell us a little bit more about you and about your mission.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Teresa. Yes, we are embarking on a brand new campaign because we want to get more public awareness out there. With public awareness and education, we can then inspire people to action, which is prevention. And prevention is really going to be the determining factor in deterring human trafficking. So if we can prevent people from becoming victims and being held against their will to do things, that's the major goal. So we will have not only another book coming out, but a music album called Broken Treasures, the inspiration album. And
Nice.
also we have a magazine called Voices of Courage. So we are trying to get to people music, reading, free forums, anything we can do so that they don't have to go through what I went through and what so many tens of thousands and millions of people have gone through worldwide.
Yeah, and thank you for your focus and your attention to this, because I don't think the world recognizes how huge that is, and what you're doing is making a difference. Even making a difference in one life, you've made a difference, but you are making a difference in many lives, and for that I thank you, and we commend you for your I'm going to say service to humanity, because it really is a service to humanity. So tell me about your story that you wrote for A Daily Gift of Kindness. It's called Special Delivery Kindness.
Oh my goodness. It's one of there's so many to choose from, but as we spoke about it, this is one of my favorites because coming from a background that I came from, I didn't have pets, I didn't have friends, and small kindnesses were a really big deal to me, which is why I'm extra sensitive about trying to, pay that forward. But in this case, when I married my husband almost 25 years ago, we were very careful before we had a fur baby in the house, and we finally got one. It was my very first pet ever, a sweet golden retriever named Dusty. And what a joy. I had never understood why people love dogs. And once I had her, I was like, oh my gosh, I was 40 something, my first pet. So we were blessed to have her for over 15 years. And then the day came where it was time to let her go to doggy heaven, and with dignity, and not to be selfish about wanting her to, hang on longer. And so I made the decision, and I'd never had to do that before, but I knew it was the right thing to do for her. And so I had forgotten a couple months after she left us to cancel an order with Chewy.com. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have dog treats and stuff coming. And I totally forgot about it. I called them, and the woman on the other end was so kind. And because we were rescuing kids at that time, Teresa, as you know, she was also a pet therapist. She was an emotional support animal for me. And she was so many things to so many people, and just had this incredible personality. Anyway, a few days after that phone call, this gorgeous bouquet of flowers showed up on my doorstep. I couldn't even see the lady behind the flowers. It was just so beautiful. And in the card, it was the woman I had talked to, a total stranger, on the other end of the phone, that sent the flowers in honor of Dusty and all of the people and all of the kids that she helped in her years with us. And I thought, what an amazing human being to do that for another stranger.
That's awesome.
That was my special delivery kindness.
Yeah, special delivery for sure. Dusty was a special delivery, and in her parting, you got a special delivery from a human who truly gets what it's like to lose a pet, and that's just wonderful. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story. It warmed my heart, and I know that it's going to warm the hearts of everyone who reads it. So thank you.
It's an honor to do that. Thanks for including it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. There will be more to come. By the way, next book is Daily Gift of Peace. So during this call, I'll be letting everybody know that they can participate as well in that book. So thanks again, Andy. I appreciate you.
You bet, Teresa. Right back at you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Miss Fran Asaro, you're up next. So Fran is a YouTube mentor and strategist. She's the founder of the Senior Tuber community, where she helps mature people become well-versed in YouTube, and she's for content creators, and she walks them through the steps to leave their legacy, earn an income, and share their gifts with the world. I'm all about that, Fran. So thanks for coming to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're such a joy to have.
It was so much fun.
I love hanging out with you every week in the Senior Tubers. Don't tell anybody I'm a senior, okay? I'm trying to hide.
That's why we say mature, right? It's up to you if you want to be a senior. We don't check ID.
We don't check ID at the door. That's right. So Fran, tell everybody a little bit about how you started Senior Tubers, and then let's talk about your story.
Yeah, thank you. So Senior Tuber is like a labor of love. I've been a life and business coach for almost 20 years, and I've also been a content creator and a failure at it for the first 10 years of it. And one day I really put my mind to it, took an academy, learned all about it, and thought I need to teach other people. I had already become a mature person. And I said, I bet you there's people like me who wake up once in a while and say, what's next? Maybe they're retired, maybe they are alone, maybe they just have something still inside them that they want to give to the world. And I thought, well, now I have tools to give them. I have that. And I married the two. And I asked, for a divine message about what to call a senior tuber. And now I'm so excited to be able to go at a pace that's more comfortable, because when I learned, it was a fire hose, which I didn't mind, but many people aren't that savvy. So I wanted it to be more of a community and fun and no obligation. Let's just come, get together, support each other. And some people come, they don't even have a channel, and they've been coming for years. And other people, they're well versed and they just want some tweaking to their channel, and everything in between. So it's a really great place for people to support each other, and just create, because some people have something, maybe they've been teaching their entire life and they want to continue. Maybe they want to do something they never got to do in their lives. So for me, this is a really great match, just to put my two loves together, of the content creating and the teaching.
Yeah, awesome. And it's fun to be there. I
Thank you.
will confess, I'm there most of the time.
Yes, it's so good to have you. You're a big contribution to the group.
Thank you. Thank you. So Fran, you chose to submit two stories to the Daily Gift of Kindness, and you have, the first one is titled "The Woman Who Made Me Feel Seen," and the other one is "Kindness Grows in Layers." Which one would you like to talk about?
I'm going to talk about the woman, because I'm sure, like many people here, we've had a lot of kindness. Hopefully we've had a lot of kindness in our lives. It's almost too much when you're trying to create one story. But when I reached down, I realized there's somebody in my life that doesn't even know what they did for me. And I decided to honor her. And here I was, about 10 years old. It was 1968, and I was at a wedding, my aunt's wedding, my favorite aunt. And I didn't know it was one of her best friends that I was sitting next to at the table. I was amongst my parents and family members, and everybody's very nice and very having a lot of fun, and including me. But her name was Lorraine, and she kept looking at me like I was an adult, asking me adult questions, like, what do you think about, and what's important to you? And it was just, I had never been spoken to that way. And for the first time in my life, I felt like somebody and not just a child. And she was so generous with her time, and she looked me in the eye, and she was just so dedicated to probably making my day, or at least making me feel heard. And ever since that day, I brought her up. I now do a family reunion on YouTube for my own family, that people you haven't seen for 40 years. And my aunt shows up. She's 80. She's going to be 81. And I have been telling her all about Lorraine and how much her best friend made a difference for me way back then. So I'm going to continue to share about her, because you never know who you're looking at for a moment that you have now been remembered for 50 years or more, because all you did was shared some kindness.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you've passed that on, so to speak, to children in a similar situation where you have been gathering and they are kind of like lost, if you will, and don't have anybody to talk to. Have you engaged them? Have you paid it forward, so to speak?
I try. I have great nieces and nephews, and I have a couple that I would spend a lot of time with. And the poor things, though, they'd come over and I'd teach them how to do public speaking. Here they were 8 and 10, and I'd set them up with a microphone and a podium. And I tried to treat them like adults, because I remember, just for a little bit, you want to be treated like someone who's capable of doing something big. So we would do that, and we go garage sailing. I taught them how to negotiate, just little things that I did that, a lot of parents don't get that time to do, because they're so busy teaching them the important stuff. I wanted to teach them a little bit of what I had the blessing with.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Fran. Thanks for
Thank you.
participating, and thank you for the stories that you shared. I know that they will filter down through other people, and they will take something from every single one of these stories. So thank you
I
for
hope
the
so.
contribution.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Okay, let's go to Ida Ranabandian. She's a former university lecturer who taught philology, linguistics, and comparative literature. She's the author of multiple books, including "Does God Have a Bicycle?" and Jacob's Magic Vegetables, which I had the great pleasure of helping her to get that published. She published it through my company. It's called Jacob's Magic Vegetables, How Loving Kindness Grows. It's a children's book and has a great message in it. And I hope that you will look for that. She's also contributed to A Daily Gift of Hope. And she has a couple of other books that she's contributed to, including now, of course, A Daily Gift of Kindness. Ida, thank you for coming to this show today. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Teresa, thank you. DreamWork Radio Network, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So welcome. Let's talk about your story, Miss Ida. And it is called, I'm going to tell you in 1 second, because Courage to be Kind. Now, this story is unusual and really good. So let's talk about your story, Courage to be Kind.
I'd like to start with just quote of Saint Francis of Assisi. He said, "A single sunbeam is enough to drive away many shadows." I think we all are observing and recording it. That's why you have that wonderful collection published. My experience was to witness how one of my neighbors, she was very, very terminally ill, and there was some incident happened on the street, and some miracle power came through her to bring her out, and she's able to rescue others. The reason I I titled it Courage to be Kind. I believe that kindness takes courage. If one has courage, then the kindness will flow. So I was very blessed to witness it, and I'm excited that it's going to be in your publication.
Yeah, I'm excited for this story too. And you never know. You said miracle, and when you read through these stories, especially this one in particular, there is truly a miracle that happened for this woman to be able to do what she did under the circumstances. And then I'm not going to give away anything else. I'm going to let everybody read it. But a true miracle occurred that day. And for you to be sharing that, I think not only does it take courage to be kind, your story gives hope to others who are in situations that are similar, or they think maybe they can't do something, and all of a sudden they have the ability to do so. And we never know. We never know. Right, Ida?
How higher universe uses us as vehicles to manifest what it needs to do at that moment. And when we're open, it happens.
Exactly. I agree with you. Thank you so much for your contribution to Daily Gift of Kindness. And I hope you will continue to share your really good stories in the series as we go forward with the next one.
Thank you. May your publication benefit many.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope it does. That's my hope. That's my hope. Okay. Thank you, Ida. All right. Let's see who's next. Let's go to Sally Mary. Sally Mary De Leon. And now Sally Mary is an American Army veteran and a nurse for over 20 years. She approaches healing and empowerment like a master gardener, tending to each individual's needs with compassion and expertise. From patching up scraped knees as a child to advocating for patients' rights as a nurse and a paralegal, she has also and always had an innate drive to care for others. Her commitment extends to serving on nonprofit boards and focusing on reducing veteran suicide and homelessness. Thank you, Sally Mary, for all you do in service to our country and in service to humanity. Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Well, what I find myself doing on a daily basis is fulfilling that thing that's missing in my own life. the kindness, the love, the compassion. And I used to be in a place in my life where I was complaining about what I wasn't getting. I was complaining about, oh, I didn't get hugged enough, or I didn't get my share of X, or, that person wasn't kind. And rather than demanding it, I decided that I needed to share it and give it. My first lesson in that is from my grandmother. She taught me that you can't ask for the world what you're not willing to give. And so I figured that, that came back to me recently, and I thought, okay, well, if I'm demanding something and I'm whining and complaining about what's missing in my life, perhaps I should ensure that I'm providing that for others as well.
Mhm. That's really a great point. You can't cry about what you don't do about what you don't have if you don't give it to somebody else. So you've contributed several stories to this book. You want to talk about any one of them? You choose.
Well, I know that to me, any one of those, any one of those apply, especially with, I hate to talk about, the elephant in the room, right, with the election and just what happened. It's just, I feel like the discord of where we need to head towards is headlining that kindness, compassion is important. I feel like it's something that we need to put in front of us. Like, I feel like if I was to come ahead at someone in an angry way and I'm demanding for them to be kind while I've got this angry look on my face, it's not a good look. So, I want to be able to express that to them. And I know that kindness is truly an act of choice. Just like how we have the gift of will, I feel like kindness is also a gift the same way as it is the will. It is something that we choose on a normal basis. Kindness is like the water and the sun and the earth that we need in order for things to continue to grow. And I know that, in one of the articles that I wrote, or one of the chapters that I wrote, I talked about how there is this science behind how kindness can impact the well-being and the natural release of endorphins that helps calm ourselves, our mind, reduces stress, fostering the inner peace. It's as close kin, or it is akin to gratitude. And in order for gratitude to express, I feel like kindness has to come and breathe into it. So it's this quiet force that we need to make louder through our actions rather than just our words. Rather than campaigning, be kind, and all rude and mean about it, we say, hey, be kind, and let me show you what kindness looks like. It's me showing you compassion. It's me validating that, hey, life is hard, but let me find ways to help ease it for you. And if someone refuses our kindness, don't be mad that they didn't accept it. Be like, okay, well, this is not for you, therefore it must be for this person, and be open-minded to that. Like, not everyone wants to receive kindness, because not everyone understands that culturally it's good to be able to share and be in that path of good, which translates to kindness. So that's my share. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Sally Mary. And you are absolutely a picture of kindness in what you do with your help with the veterans, between helping them to stay away from thoughts of suicide and homelessness. So thank you for your service, both in and out of the Army. You are doing good things. And, I have on the back of the book, and you'll see it when you get it, kindness is free, sprinkle it everywhere. So it is free, sprinkle it everywhere. So with that, we need to go to our first break. So if we could just take a few minutes to do that, and we will be back and hearing from the other ladies as soon as we return. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Are you one of the many people who said, someday I'll write a book, but don't know how to get started? Many wannabe authors have begun with the same question and are now published by Authentic Endeavors Publishing, a multi-imprint hybrid publishing company. Whether you're writing an autobiography, a memoir, a kingdom book, a children's book, a business book, or an anthology, we have a place for you. Visit www.AuthenticEndeavorsPublishing.com for more information, or to set up a 20-minute consultation. Your title of published author is within reach. Born Able exists to highlight and normalize the humanity, worth, and abilities of infants and children born with complex medical conditions. We write, illustrate, and publish books for these children and have featured over 1,000 children throughout the world. Our videos and posts have been viewed over 100 million times on social media as we strive to showcase these amazingly abled kids and fight relentlessly for equal medical care, regardless of diagnosis. All proceeds from Born Able books go directly to the Born Able Foundation. To nominate a special kid to be featured in a Born Able book, go to www.bornable.org to learn more.
Did you know that every word you speak matters? What you say and how you say it can make or break a relationship or shift the outcome of any situation. Are your conversations making a difference? Faith in God, gratitude, authenticity, and giving are Teresa Velardi's heart. It's in this spirit that she's focused on making a difference in the lives she's blessed to touch. Conversations That Make a Difference is now on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back to Conversations That Make a Difference. We're talking to authors in the new book that's coming out on World Kindness Day, which is Daily Gift of Kindness. It's the third book in the series, the Daily Gift book series, and we hope you'll get your copy. We're going to go next to our author, Dr. Vaughn. She's called Dr. Vaughn. Her name is Giovanna Cheeks, and she serves as president and CEO of Antero Emergency Management Consulting, Inc. She earned a PhD at Capella University, where she studied public safety leadership with a concentration in emergency management. And before attending Capella, she earned a Master of Science in Business Management from Troy State University. And she has also proudly served for 22 and a half years in the United States Army with 2 combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. Thank you for your service, Dr. Vaughn. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. You've got a string of letters behind your name. So let's talk a little bit more about your designations and what you do.
Yes, ma'am. So those are just professional designations that I've pursued since retiring from the military. That was a tremendous shift, transitioning from the military to the civilian environment, both in terms of, what you expect, from comrades and teamwork, and just to getting your footing, learning a new skill set and how to, transition into, how do I respond and interact with civilians? Because I'm a civilian now. There's no more uniform. There's no more calling by rank. Nobody cares about that anymore. It's all about, I'm a person now. So that was a tremendous adjustment. But, in that transition, I realized that I needed to do some things to enhance my skill set. So that's what those letters are. They just basically distinguish me within my space. That's it.
So what are you doing with the work that you are doing now outside of the military? You've got a bunch of things, emergency service management, and tell me what you do on your day-to-day.
So yes, ma'am, I am a government contractor. I currently support Army units, assisting with their IT acquisitions, from drafting the requirement to getting that requirement into the soldier's hands, or, either whether it's a product or a service, whatever the soldier or the warfighter needs, that's what we do from cradle to grave. And, it's a pleasure to do so, because having been a former soldier, I remember how it was when you were deployed somewhere and there was that thing that you needed that you couldn't get. So I'm really excited to do what I currently do.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your service and for what you're bringing to the service now. You're still, and you two should talk to each other. Sally Mary and Dr. Vaughn, you should talk to each other. I'm sure there's a collaboration in there somewhere, right? So your story is called Guided by Grace, the Kindness That Inspired My Success. Tell me about this, please.
Yes, ma'am. So when I transitioned from the military, I spent a little bit of time working for an IT company, and then I said, I want to start my own. That was always a dream of mine, and I felt like I was ready. But it's so daunting to start. It's like, where do I start? How do I start? Where do I go? What should I, what classes should I take? Or, who should be my customer? All of those things. And it was so overwhelming. So, on one of my first initial contracts, I met someone, and she instantly took me under her wing. We had a connection, that was like instant because we were like from the same hometown, but she just had this air of, royalty about her, but I did not know her full background. And, I shared with her my concerns about, not really being sure about what my next steps were. And she just, graciously spent time with me, showing me what to do, providing me templates and sharing her experience with where, they were invaluable, telling me the things that she did well and as well as the things that she did wrong. And she shared that with me. And that was like the beginning of an enduring friendship. Like I adopted her as my big sister. Like I said, in addition to her sharing business knowledge with me, she also gave me office equipment, furniture. I didn't get to use it because, COVID hit right after that. But another thing that hit right after that was my breast cancer diagnosis. And I didn't know it when I first met her, but she's also a bishop. And so when I shared with her my diagnosis, I mean, she brought me like little beanie caps, little lozenges to keep me from being nauseous, coloring books, and prayers. She turned me onto this book, and it was talking about the prayer of the Holy Communion. And that book changed my whole life. It changed the way I viewed my diagnosis. I got peace with what I was dealing with. I began to look at my treatments, all that chemo. I began to look at that as another step towards my healing versus dreading it. And it was all because of that meeting with her, that bond. And if I hadn't met her, who knows how that journey would have been. But I'm just so thankful that God allowed our paths to cross on that day because, it was more than just a business piece that she shared with me. It was that book that she shared that just changed my whole life, even to this day.
And what was the title of that book again? So, and I'm asking you this for the sake of people who might be going through something similar to what you're going through, so they can glean something good from it the same way that you did. So what is the title of it?
The Healing Power of the Holy Communion, and it's by Joseph Prince.
Joseph Prince. I know that name.
Yes, ma'am. And it was, like I said, it was wonderful. It changed my whole outlook. I went from being angry to realizing that, hey, these bodies are temporary. We weren't supposed to have them forever, but they're subject to death and decay, just like everything else, So yes. I looked at that and I realized that, hey, my healing was already done. I just had to believe and just move forward through the process. And I know it's not that simple for cancer for everybody. I understand that, but that was the thing that I held on to, and it helped me, whether I made it or didn't, I was at peace either way because of what I learned in that book.
Yeah. Well, that being said, I hope you share some more of that in the next book, Daily
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I love
you so much for joining us today and for being part of the book. I'm sure your story is going to help many, just like the other ladies that are here. I'm sure it's going to help many. Thank you so much, Dr. Vaughn.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's go over to Mary Bovers Brown. Mary.
Hey.
Welcome. You are the founder of Trimedia 3, and you offer digital marketing to small businesses. Your corporate background has honed you in communication, strategic planning, problem solving, and creativity skills. Originally from Australia, you'll recognize the accent when she opens her mouth to speak. Mary has been fortunate to live and work throughout the United States, including Hawaii and Alaska. I'm jealous. The Hawaii part, I'm jealous. Alaska, I'm even jealous because one of the things on my bucket list is the Northern Lights. So, okay.
Yeah.
She's a proud single mother of 2 incredible souls. And tell us a little bit about your story. I want to talk about the trash dash.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me on the show today. And thank you so much for what you've brought to my life and the lives of my family through this experience. But kindness can be found in the funniest of places. While I had already submitted a story that to the book, and I had an experience that I just had to capture because it was hilarious. It was on one morning, a holiday morning. It was normally a garbage day, and I was lying in bed and thinking, oh, you know, it's a holiday, I don't have to go to work, and how lovely. And I heard the rumble of the truck coming, thinking, oh, they're coming anyway. So dashed out of bed, as did many of my neighbors, including a new one who I had not met before. So we all went dashing out there in our lovely sleep attire, and tried to catch the garbage man. Well, unfortunately, the route that they take, they had actually missed my house and the house of the lady who was new to the neighborhood. And so we kind of laughed and started up a conversation with each other. She had these cute little bunny slippers on, and it was a great icebreaker. So we just started talking about it, and lo and behold, you know, we're sharing who we are and, you know, where we're from, so on, and family stories. And next thing we know, these garbage guys had apparently seen us in their rear view mirror and had turned the truck around and came back. And so I was absolutely very, very grateful, because what I didn't tell you during this story is that I had just held a dinner party where I had had a large amount of raw shrimp. Well, it was cooked shrimp, but the shrimp shells were disgusting and they were in the garbage. So I was very, very grateful that the garbage man came back, and that through that experience, I also had met a new neighbor. So the kindness of these guys not only made our day, all of us were cheering. I mean, it was very festive. And even in the smallest of moments, kindness can really make a huge, huge difference to your life.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And you are a very kind individual. Tell people a little bit about what you do. You're more behind the scenes kind of girl, and you're helping people like me and Fran. And you know, by the way, I just want to say this: no matter how you think you don't know each other, we are all connected. We are all connected. One of us leads to the other, leads to the other. And I just love how we just are all, it's like the world is one big family. Yeah. So
it definitely is. Yeah. I have a corporate background. I worked a long time ago for 20 years in the advertising field, and you will know how long ago it was when I tell you that it was with the Yellow Pages.
oh my goodness.
So I spent a couple of decades between then and now raising two wonderful souls and launching them into the world, and have been very blessed to do so. So now I'm in the third chapter of my existence here in this meat suit, this particular meat suit. And I really enjoyed kind of coming full circle. I used to write a lot of stories just for fun, and found through my career that I was writing a lot for work, and a lot of business stuff, a lot of manuals, a lot of technical information. And it wasn't until I met Fran, and then through Fran met Teresa, that Teresa introduced me to the idea of creative writing again. And I found that I absolutely love it. I feel like a kid. And it's wonderful to feel that when you are in your golden years.
Thank you for everything that you have contributed to this book. You'll see that inside the book, there are several pieces that Mary has contributed. And she also brought her brother on board, so he contributed something as well, and a song on top of it. So there's a lot of really good stuff. I'm going to say stuff inside the covers of this book that I'm sure that many people will enjoy what you have contributed, Mary. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you for making it a family affair for me, and in the process, making an international affair.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Yes, it is international as well. So, all right, with that, we have to go to our break. And when we return, we're going to be talking to Eileen and Michelle. And then we'll just have some time talking to each other about the experience of contributing. So thank you for listening. We'll be right back.
Do you have an uplifting personal story to share? The Daily Gift Book Series began with a daily gift of gratitude and a daily gift of hope, both available on Amazon. We're looking for people like you to share a story in our continuing series. Kindness, peace, inspiration, and generosity are just a few of the upcoming topics in the Daily Gift Book Series. Your stories matter, and they make a difference. Visit www.dailygiftbookseries.com to find out more on how to submit your story for one of the upcoming titles.
With the hustle and bustle of today's world, how often do you practice gratitude? How can you make it a habit? Gratitude is more than putting a smile on your face and being thankful for the roof over your head. It's expanding your perception and finding gratitude for every opportunity and every challenge. Gratitude is a feeling of connection to things higher than yourself, to God, and to others. We focus on light, positivity, and connections. When we join our grateful hearts together, the power of community attracts more people and even more to be grateful for while making a difference. A grateful heart is infectious. Share it. Join our Grateful Hearts community on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/The Grateful Hearts Community and watch your blessings blossom.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Welcome back to Conversations That Make a Difference. And I'm so grateful to be able to present to the world, as we have done this over the last couple of years. The Daily Gift Book Series is something that's near and dear to my heart. I feel like God tapped me on the shoulder a few years ago and asked me to write these books. And the first one, I wasn't supposed to do any of this by myself. And that's why all these people are here and all these voices are being heard in these books. They are compilations, short stories, each one about a different topic. And of course, the first one is a daily gift of gratitude. The second one is a daily gift of hope. These are both available on Amazon. And on the 13th, World Kindness Day, you will be seeing a daily gift of kindness. And all of these authors have contributed to this book, some to the other books. And I am grateful to have people who have said yes to the opportunity for all three books. And one of those people is Miss Eileen Gottlieb, also known as the Heart Healer. And Eileen is, she's been in nursing for over 50 years with 30 years in vibrational healing. Eileen is an expert in creating and using holistic approaches to clear energy blocks and promote healing. She helps an international clientele of heart-centered individuals and entrepreneurs who struggle with trauma, fear, self-sabotage, negative thoughts or behaviors, and self-worth issues. Working with Eileen, her clients experience inner peace, self-confidence, empowerment, and a knowing of their soul's purpose. Eileen, thank you for once again contributing to the series. You are in all three of the books. Yes?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
And the next one is going to be a daily gift of peace, where if you go to dailygiftbookseries.com, you'll learn more about that. And I'm sure that you will say yes to that opportunity as well, because I know who you are, heart to heart. I know who you are. And so let's talk a little bit more about what you do and how it has been your purpose for for your life.
Thank you, Teresa, for the joy of participating in this collaboration and for being part of such a lovely group of ladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am, if you can imagine, I'm like 8 years old and I'm wearing a Halloween costume that is a nurse's uniform. I always knew that I wanted to be a nurse, and we have a couple of other nurses in our group, so I'm sure that they can appreciate this as well.
Yes.
And so this choice to participate in a daily book of kindness
I was thinking of myself as my history and the challenges that I had as a child and how I transformed that into becoming someone of service, someone who was a helper, that kind, compassionate person that brings me great joy to do through nursing. But it's also had a lot of different expressions over the last many years, shall we say, of being in this profession. And I'm very, very grateful. So for the past 30 years, I've been blessed to have a private practice in vibrational healing where I support clients around the world. And it really has been amazing with the technology that we have available to be able to have that kind of reach to support more and more people.
Yes.
And conscious heart connection and Ho'oponopono, the ancient Hawaiian problem-solving process, are my core focus for being in service. I love teaching both as a means of beginning that healing journey, no matter where anyone is on it, to enhance whatever choices their healthcare regimen bring to them.
Yeah. And your story that you wrote encompasses all of what you do in many ways. And so the story is titled The Kindness of Family and Spirit Sisters. Again, I'm going to say we are all connected. So the Spirit Sisters are alive and well and living in this room and others.
So true. So true. These particular Spirit Sisters are colleagues that I went through my training with vibrational healing, the different types of techniques that I offer. And it is these relationships that have kept me in my body the last 30 years when life was challenging. They are those people that show up. Like if we have family that does that and we're blessed with that, but they show up without being asked. They show up when you least expect it, but when you need it the most. They are kind and loving and compassionate and nurturing and present.
Yes.
And so that story was all about my experience with COVID last year, where I became very ill. And so I share the experience of kindness of how people showed up in my world to help me heal and move through that experience. Yeah.
And so before we go to Michelle, I want to ask you, some people don't know what Ho'oponopono is. Will you please give them the phrases that are associated with Ho'oponopono that so unbelievably spiritually make things so much better?
Thank you. My joy to share it. The 4 phrases that most people will recognize Ho'oponopono by are, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And this is the ancient version of Ho'oponopono, which is part of the ancient Hawaiian culture, which is 2,500 some odd years old. And so it is a problem-solving process that in the ancient version was facilitated, but it was updated in the 1970s by a beautiful woman named Morna Nalamaku Simeona. She was a kahuna lapa'au, a healing kahuna, which is a spiritual leader in the Hawaiian culture. And she updated the ancient version to what we know it of now as self-identity. That's I-identity through Ho'oponopono. And instead of it being a facilitated process, it is basically everything that we need is within us. And it can be as simple as saying, instead of all 4 phrases, but you can still say all 4 phrases if that's how you feel inspired to do the work. You can just simply say, I love you, I love you, I love you, or thank you, thank you, thank you, repeatedly. And each time you say it, it is a petition to divinity to transmute the memories of whatever it is that is the issue, no matter what. And for me, I healed childhood trauma and PTSD with this very simple but powerful process.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the work that you do, Eileen. You're awesome. I've known, I'm so blessed to be able to know some of these women that you see here for many years. And my life is better with them in it. So thank you so much for sharing your story of kindness and for Ho'oponopono. I appreciate you.
My joy. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle. Michelle Harwood-Lange. Is it Lang or Lange? Whatever it is, you're beautiful. Thank you for joining us. So let me tell you a little bit about Michelle, and you can unmute while I'm doing this. So how do you describe a woman who understands the rigors of life more than most? Well, Michelle's experience stretches the gamut of exquisite joy to some serious life lessons, none of us will see even over a lifetime. She has learned to pivot those negative into positive strengths. And as an author, artist, and inspiring thought leader, her mission is to share her life through the power of the written word and visual art. Her powerful wisdom and intuition flow from a pen or brush to enlighten minds and awaken souls. That's quite a bio that you have. And I thank you, Michelle, for coming today and for your story. You want to talk a little bit more about yourself and where your gifts came? Oh, you've got artist gifts and you've got written gifts, and that's me too, by the way. I'm a potter. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I think that gifts show up when we need them the most. We go through life facing challenges, and we realize that we need a way of coping. And for me, art was a way of challenging myself to cope through some life challenges so I could channel that energy onto a canvas, onto a piece of paper, onto something, and whatever showed up, that's what I needed to discover or learn about. Writing has always been a part of me since I was very young. I never thought myself to be an author until life experiences and opportunities said, this is what you're going to be doing in the next couple of years. And I decided, yes, that's me. I'm going to write. And it started with an anthology with the Imperfectly Perfect campaign as a contributing author. After being diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 3 breast cancer, and then learning how to adjust, manage, and find strength, courage, hope, and positivity through that experience, the words seemed to flow, the story happened, and I found my writing showing up in a way that was soulful and soul-filled. And I knew that putting art in language and literature and that kind of energy is a way to connect with people, because when you sit down and read a great book, there's a story, there's a painting. It's not on a canvas, it's with words. And for me, wordsmithing a story in a connective way with someone is really important. And I think in this day and age, connecting with a sense of realism is helpful, because we all need to find a way to relate to each other.
Yes,
and
indeed. Exactly.
That's how
So
writing
well said.
became
Yeah.
my space, was relatable.
Yeah. So well said, Michelle. So well said. And so your story is called Kindness Grows Kindness. And I believe that to be true. I absolutely believe that to be true. You want to talk a little bit about that story?
Sure. The phrase kindness grows kindness, it started when we hit COVID, and I was on LinkedIn and I was watching what was happening. And I thought to myself, we have to find a way where we are much more kind And it just seemed to fit that if we are kind with ourselves, we can grow kindness with others, and that it's a soul language that is a sister, as it's already been mentioned earlier, to gratitude. It's also a sister to compassion, understanding, and all of those soul languages create an opportunity to build our character and our soul. And how do we go about doing that? Well, we have to start with ourselves. My story is about a part of my life where I wasn't being kind to myself. I was experiencing some tragic life experiences by losing a child who was an infant. My expansion of mental capacity and emotional capacity had left. And for me, it was a moment that was very dark. It was like being deliberately putting myself in a dark room and not turning on the light.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the act of someone else and their kindness to me, and the kindness that they shared was a prayer. I was in a space where I didn't want to return to this body, to this earth, and I was trying to escape. And I knew it. And there was this vision of a man standing at the foot of my bed while I was hospitalized, saying a prayer for me. Wow. I had to wake up to what he was saying and what I was experiencing, realizing that he was being genuinely kind to me to help me see how much I was loved, even though I wasn't loving myself. Mm-hmm. What happened moving forward was coming to an understanding to grow into a place of, to be kind, to grow kindness, we need to be kind to ourselves. We cannot give from an empty bucket what we don't have. So when we grow our kindness, we can give our kindness, and it makes all the difference. Life experiences showed up where people were paying it forward for me when I needed it, single parent, special needs child, limited income, and I needed to pay a bill, and this woman stood behind me, and all I needed was 56 cents. She put $1 on the counter, and I looked at her and I said, I don't know what to say. And because of that experience, somebody taking the time with someone that didn't know me, I received a gift of monumental, you can't even put a price on it. Yeah. And because of my earlier experiences and those little moments that showed up, often I could see that by being kind and having a genuine heart space of kindness, you could give kindness freely. And to see a look on someone's face when you are kind, that is the greatest gift that you can cherish your whole life. And for them, that generational gap disappears. And for the rest of their life, they remember how you made them feel and because of what you did for them.
Yes. Yes. Michelle, thank you so much for sharing so deeply about your story and your life experience. And you're absolutely right. Kindness. All I can say is there is joy in being kind, and then there is joy in also doing and receiving kindness. So it's something that perpetuates, and it all, the pay it forward thing is something that is just near and dear to my heart. But I love it when the woman put the money on the counter and helped you with something that was so small for someone else, but so huge for you. It makes all the difference in the world. And I hate to say this, but we are out of time. I'm going to make sure that everybody's websites are in the description in this. And for anybody who is listening, who wants to get in touch with these ladies, that information will be underneath the YouTube channel. And also I will post it on my website, conversationsatmakeadifference.com. I am overjoyed with this conversation today. Thank you, each one of you, for contributing your stories, for showing up for this conversation, and for making a difference in the lives of others through your sharing in the Daily Gift Book series. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, make sure the conversations that you have with other people are making a difference for you and for them. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Tune in next time for Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi every Tuesday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern, with live call-in shows every first and third Tuesday on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. Thank you for listening, and thank you to our station owner, Deborah Beauvais, working behind the scenes. Be sure to go to conversationsthatmakeadifference.com for your free gift. Make sure your conversations make a difference.